Thanks for joining me on another video. Thank you to all of you who've subscribed. That's great. It's been really exciting. I love your comments, so please keep commenting. And if there's anything that you're interested in finding out about, just ask and I'll see if I can help out. So on today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I arrived at this painting. This is the finished painting. And like some of my work, and maybe some of yours, you go through several iterations before you're happy with a painting. So I'm showing you this video because I did resolve this painting. I'm quite pleased with the results, but the initial stage was painful. I can't lie, because I was thinking too much about what I wanted it to look like. And it just didn't look right. And I think that's the lesson is, if you paint what you see and you want to paint expressively, then very often it doesn't work out. You never end up with the painting that you see in your mind. I like to think that my work comes from observation, sensing the feelings in a place, how somewhere makes you feel, that kind of element. I hope creeps into all of my work, but you can see in the beginning of this painting, definitely didn't. So I'm going to share that bit with you, and then how I resolved it and where that inspiration came from. So here goes. So I'm starting this painting thinking about a journey I took to see a friend recently. It was early in the morning and it was driving through countryside. It was very beautiful, lots of muted greys because it's the middle of winter, and I really wanted to bring that to life in a painting. So I'm starting by painting a bit of the sky and then getting the horizon in. In this case it's a hill, so the horizon is wonky naturally, and I'm putting in some dark colours here. This is a raw umber with a little bit of ultramarine blue mixed in, and I'm trying to at this point just feel my way around the painting. I haven't particularly covered up all of the panel. I'm just trying to get in the sort of colours as I remembered them, but also to add in some darker tones, which is with this raw umber ultramarine blue mix. As you can see, I'm kind of just in my head now. I'm thinking this isn't working how I imagine it should be working. So I'm just trying things out. I'm scratching into the board. I've, done a kind of a field coming down on the right hand side with grey. Now I'm introducing some more colour. I'm using a palette knife on this painting. I like using a palette knife on a canvas. I find it much harder on a hard wooden board. So I might swap over in a minute to brushes. So I'm really trying to get some tonal values into this painting, and I'm really feeling right now it's not working. Yeah, nothing. It's just frustrating when that happens. But I am kind of trying to remember what I saw, and I don't think it's working, to be honest. So I'm just going to keep on going and see if something happens, but I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. The colours I've used, it's a fairly limited colour palette, believe it or not. It's cerulean blue and raw umber and titanium white in the sky. I've introduced a little bit of peachy colour into the sky as well, and the grass is lemon yellow and ultramarine blue. Now I'm kind of trying other things, which is a crayon to get some different marks in, and I've put in a tree, and I'm holding two crayons together to, again, you have less control, and this is what I've ended up with. I kind of lived with it for about a day, and I don't like it. So I come back a couple of days later and I analyse what I like. I don't like the tree. I don't like the tree at all. The marks in the background are three marks exactly the same size. Does not work. I do like this funny little bit on the bottom left-hand side that I did with the crayons. The horizon, on the hill, that's okay. I'm happy with the composition, but I'm not happy with the sky. The sky just doesn't work for me. It's kind of just too, I don't know, too bitty really. So I'm going back in with some white mixed with a tiny bit of the lemon yellow. And I'm really just going to brighten up the sky a bit. And I'm using a big brush, and I'm, at this stage, probably a bit annoyed with myself for getting to this stage and still it's not working. So I've got a water bottle out and I let that drip, just to, I don't know, change things up really. I'm really not invested in this. I want to experiment. So I'm getting rid of the drips across the landscape, painting out all those trees in the distance, and putting quite a lot of greyish coloured paint onto the wood. This is a great trick. It's parchment paper or baking paper, and if you use that on slightly wet paint, it lifts off some of the paint and makes unusual marks. Now I've added some more tonal values in, and I'm bringing in yellow ochre into the mid, do you call it the midground? Foreground, background, the bit in the middle anyway, because I'm not happy with that sort of light green that I've got. I, as you can see, have pretty much painted out that tree. I'm very relieved with that. And now I'm just using a very small brush to just fiddle around a little bit with the the distance. I'm still working fast. I'm sort of feeling my way across the painting. I'm feeling a little bit happier with it now than I was, but it still needs a lot of work. I'm very conscious of trying to get in tonal differences into the painting. So that's the making the lights lighter and the darks darker, because that really adds interest and dynamism to your painting. So again, it's all about using different tools. I've applied some light grey, which is ultramarine blue, white and raw umber, to that bottom right hand bit of the sky, and I really like it. Now I'm putting some fairly neat cerulean blue onto that white patch as an indication of a patch of water, if you like, but it's far too bright because it's quite a dark grey sky, so I'll have to go back to that and adjust that in a bit. But in the interim, I've decided that I actually really like the fact that the sky is whiter. Saying that, I've just made a mark that's very dark, which is wrong. So I've cleaned the paint off the knife and I'm just adding pure white onto it and mixing it in. Going over that blue to try and knock it back a bit really, because it's just far too blue. There is no blue sky reflected, there is no blue sky to reflect in that pool of water. I get the pencil out again and make some rough marks on the bottom. No real thoughts about it, just some rough marks and a few more dark tonal values into the mid area of the ground. Still fidgeting around with this sky, still not 100% happy with it. Sometimes I think if I just stopped and left it for a couple of days, I'd probably like it. I think that's something worth thinking about when you're painting, is you can do something and think, oh, I don't like that. And then if you left it, you find that you actually do like it, because you get too close to a painting very often when you're working on it. So I've introduced another darker cloud, but the sky on the whole is much lighter. And with this brush and some sort of light grey colour, I'm kind of evening out the sky a little bit, because it's a little bit messy and it just doesn't feel quite right. So you can see some real tonal differences now in this painting. I'm just now painting in a few clouds with pure titanium white, or maybe just a little bit of grey in it. And moving a very big brush very quickly across the painting. And I'm going over the horizon again because I want that real distinction between the dark of the land and the lightness of the sky. Just trying to knock back that water, that very blue colour that I had. It feels like I'm close to finishing. I think if I do too much more, I'm going to spoil it. But I am going to introduce a different colour, and that is some red, which I'm going to splatter on with a hog hair brush. And that's to represent maybe some berries or something, but it's really to introduce a different colour. Whoops, that's a little bit too much. You do have to be careful when using this technique. So I'm going to just wipe some of that off with a tissue. But it's nice to have different marks, different things going on, and now lots of layers in the painting. So this is the finished painting. And when you crop it, you can see it much, much better. So I always advise people to crop their paintings in their phone when they've taken a photograph of it. Now when I look at this painting, I realise where it is, and I didn't think about painting it at all like this, but this is very reminiscent of a walk I do with my dog, and at this time of year, those are the colours that you can see. I'm going to grab a photo and show you. Isn't that extraordinary? I mean, I wasn't thinking about painting that scene, but the colours are very similar and the shapes are very similar. The sky's bluer. I was there on a lovely day. Wow, maybe I should have painted more blue in my sky. So that's what I mean when I say paint what you feel, not what you see. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it, even though it was quite tricky in the beginning. So if you did like it, please tick the like box and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like me to show you. Bye for now.